I'd been out, worked a lot of hours. A bunch of the guys went to the club to have a few beers. I went to join them. I left probably about 3 hours later and suddenly realized that my car was up against a telephone pole. Couldn't remember how I got there. Couldn't remember what happened. The next day, I went back out, talked to my commander, and he decided that if I wanted to, I could get help. So I went out and got drunk again. And I was caught driving without a license. This time, he gave me an ultimatum. The ultimatum was either get help or get out of the military.
This is The Bottom Line. I'm Gary Thiemann in Los Angeles. Wayne's story, a journey through a day in the life of a once practicing alcoholic. Who would have ever believed innocent drinking at family gatherings would be a desire to want more and more alcohol? And become a seasoned drinker later on, if you will. And finally, full-blown alcoholic.
Hi, I'm Wayne. I'm an alcoholic. I was born in Leominster, Massachusetts. I believe that my first drink was probably at the age of about 8 or 9 years of age. I was brought up with an old Italian family, and they used to believe that a glass of wine with a dinner was acceptable, and usually it was during the holiday season. As Christmas would approach, I'd get a glass of wine with my meals, and I kind of enjoyed it. It, as my grandfather would say, helped me digest. As time progressed, it was other occasions like Easter, any other holiday that would come up. And as I grew a little older, my grandfather used to ask me to go next door to a friend's house who was in the old country where he was from, and the gentleman made his own homemade wine. And as I'd go over and I'd pick up the new bottle of wine, the gentleman would ask me if I'd like a drink, and he'd offer me a small glass. So about once every 2 weeks or so, I'd go next door and pick up a bottle and have a glass of wine with him. As I grew a little older and got ready to graduate from high school, my last 2 years of high school, I was working part-time as a machinist through a vocational program. And I'd work 1 week, go to school the next. And at the age of about 17, I purchased my first car. There used to be a recreation park about 12, 13 miles from where I lived. And they used to have beer and stuff like that in one of the bars. So one Saturday, I decided to go out and see if I could purchase a beer from the bar. I looked a little old for my age, and I went in. I used to play the pinball machines. And one Saturday, I decided to ask for a beer. Well, the gentleman behind the bar gave me the beer and didn't card me. So I sat and drank the beer and played the pinball machine. The following week, I went back again, and I played the pinball machines, got another beer, was never carded. As time progressed, I got ready to go into the service, and when I went in, I drank a lot under peer pressure, I believe. There used to be gentlemen that were older than me that I was working with, and they were already set in their patterns. They were what we would call seasoned drinkers, and me being a rookie, I would drink more or less for acceptance at first, to be accepted by them. And at certain times, I felt it kind of hard to keep up with them because of the fact that these guys had all this experience on me. And I'd try, but it wouldn't work. I'd usually get drunk, sick, and throw up or whatever. As I progressed in my career in the military, I found that if I changed stations, it made it easier because I could find new friends. New drinking friends was what the excuse was. Through this, I built up a tolerance. Sometime in my career of drinking, I passed a fine white line from being a social drinker to a problem drinker. And this created bigger problems in the end. I don't know when I did this, but I do know it affected me in a lot of ways. As I drank, I used to find myself lying. Things would happen on a job, I'd forget how they happened or what I did. And a lot of times my supervisors would see this. But I was a good worker. I put a lot of hours in, worked a lot of overtime, and I thought I was really doing a terrific job. But the only one I was fooling was myself. As time progressed, my drinking progressed. And I got to the stage where it was kind of hard at times for me to get up in the morning and go to work without having a belt. It would affect my eating. A lot of times I would just as soon have a beer at lunchtime instead of a full meal. Or at night when I got off work, instead of getting something to eat, I'd go and have a couple drinks. Normally winded up closing the clubs down and usually getting pretty drunk. My appearance suffered quite a bit. My job suffered quite a bit. I might say that I successfully drank for quite a few years. I had a few DUIs in the process, and I can remember vaguely one of them. It was involved back in Massachusetts. I'd been out, worked a lot of hours. A bunch of the guys went to the club to have a few beers. I went to join them. I left probably about 3 hours later and suddenly realized that my car was up against a telephone pole. Couldn't remember how I got there. Couldn't remember what happened. Police came by, took a BAT test. They found out I was drunk. I called my brother and asked him to give me some help. And he did. The other time, I was overseas. I had a few drinks at the club and went to work. I was working a swing shift. And when my boss came in, they had classified me as drunk on duty. I was half in uniform and half out of it. I was boisterous, and I really didn't care what they had to say. My career was progressing downhill very rapidly. I had one other incident when I was in Europe, and I had gone to the golf course, shot a good round of golf with a friend, and we decided to have a few beers before we left. In the process, we had about 3 or 4 pitchers of beer apiece. We left the golf course, headed back to our home station, and on the Autobahn there is no speed limit. In the process, I had missed a turnoff, so I hit the brakes and we slid up the on-ramp off the side of the road. The car wound up in the ditch nose first. We both thought it was kind of funny at first, and when security police got there, they asked me if I'd had anything to drink, and I told them I had a few beers. At that time, they decided to escort me back to the base, and they did a BAT test. And the BAT test came out .23 something. And I believe the words we used it all was comatose. But as I sat in the drunk tank, I thought maybe I did have some kind of a problem. And I couldn't figure out what it was. But I thought maybe drinking might have something to do with it. I thought about the situation. The next day, I went back out, talked to my commander, and he decided that if I wanted to, I could get help. I figured there's no sense getting help. I really didn't think I had a problem. So I went out and got drunk again. And I was caught driving without a license. This time, he gave me an ultimatum. The ultimatum was either get help or get out of the military. This gave me quite a bit to think about.
When do you cross that imaginary line? The line from social drinking to alcoholic drinking? Well, through the magic words of his commander, get help or get out of the military, took Wayne to a recovery hospital while he was stationed in Germany. And through this hospital, he was introduced to the program of Alcoholics Anonymous.
I was introduced to a rehab program in Wiesbaden, Germany. And it was a 30-day program. The program was designed to teach me about alcoholism and to help me understand the disease of alcoholism. What they covered was the fact that the disease itself is long-term. They told me that different reasons that I would drink were excuses, and it was true. The first time I was classified as a social drinker. The program gave me the ability to look inside myself and to see that the disease had affected me and the alcohol had affected me in a lot of ways. It took my self-worth away and a lot of other things. But the program gave me the ability to get myself together. It gave me the ability to stay sober one day at a time. And it's hard, even today. When I was in the program, they told me that I needed to attend AA meetings. They told me 90 days, 90 meetings. And I felt, that was a little steep. But I also felt that I wanted to stay sober. And they told me that I had spent a lot of time drinking. Well, I needed to spend a lot of time trying to stay sober. The only way I could do that was to attend AA meetings, get a sponsor, and read the big book. And do as my sponsor told me to do. I got the big book, read it, and I used to go to meetings. And I would hear people in meetings talking about the good things that they were having, the fun and so forth. And I figured that there was something in these people that I wanted. There was a glint in their eyes, there was laughter in their voices, and they all looked good. I mean, they were real healthy looking. As I attended meetings, I heard my story. And as I heard my story, I figured maybe I wasn't such a unique person. Maybe I wasn't so different. And with that, I began a recovery. Attending meetings was kind of hard because in Germany, we had one meeting that I could attend on base. I had lost my driver's privileges, and it was about a 4-mile walk from where I was at to the base chapel where we used to have the meetings. Another friend and I were holding meetings. We would alternate every other week. I'd go every week, and one week I'd open up, one week he would. In doing the service that I did, it helped me to stay sober. It gave me the drive I needed because I figured if I went and opened the place up and somebody else came in, that was 2 of us that were being helped. And I'm grateful for that today. As I went through the program, I had to make a lot of amends to people that I had said things to or done things to. That was hard. When I left the program, the rehab center, I had to apologize to a person that I had harmed. And when I apologized to her, she accepted the fact that I was sick. She also told me that she still loved me as a friend and she understood. This helped me tremendously because the other amends that I had to make were of various natures, and this made it a little easier that I could do this, and it was something that I had to do. Whether or not they accepted it wasn't up to me. I had to make the apologies and the amends, and this enabled me to do this and to get my life together. As I progressed in the military, I came out to California and stayed in the program and attended meetings. And I've been at a meeting out here for about 4 years. I attend every week, and each week I learn something about myself and the disease of alcoholism and the many facets it has. Today I have a happier life. I've got a sponsor, and I call her and him both once in a while to let them know how I'm doing. And I'm grateful that I was given the opportunity to sober up, and I was given the tools to use to maintain my sobriety. Today I have to work harder at staying sober, but I also enjoy myself when I do this, because today I can live without taking a drink. If something goes wrong, I don't need to take a drink. Today I can contact the sponsor and tell them what's wrong and find out how I can fix it. I owe a lot to this program. It's brought me closer to my brother and his wife and the rest of my relatives. And that's something that I couldn't buy, and that's something I didn't have. And that's something that this program gave me. It was a freebie, but I had to work at it.
Wayne's message of hope and strength comes from a power greater than himself, a power he chooses to call God. Wayne has a loving God, a God with a sense of humor, and most of all, a God that keeps him sober one day at a time.
My higher power that I choose to call God is a friendly God. He's a loving and a caring God, and he also has a sense of humor at times. My spirituality came into being long about 1980 when I was on a golf course in Korea. I used to play every Saturday morning, and when I played, there was a chapel on the fourth hole. Every time I'd go by, I'd see people come out 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. They'd be smiling and hugging each other and really enjoying life. And I wondered what was going on, what they had that I didn't. And after about 3 weeks of this, I finally decided to go in and see what was going on. So I missed golf one Saturday, and I went to the chapel. And it was kind of hard because I had to stop at the door and look inside. I looked at the ceiling and the walls, and I wasn't sure if the building was going to collapse, but anyway, I went in. And a lady sat beside me, and when the service was over, I wanted to get out of there so quick that I couldn't. It seemed like everybody was holding me in, wanting to shake my hand and whatever. And as I got outside, this lady stopped me and she said, she says, as you can see, the building didn't collapse, and we're all here. And I kept going back the next week and the week after. And this got me to the point where I could get down on my knees and ask my higher power for help. I'd ask him to keep me sober for that day, first thing in the morning, and to give me the strength to do his will throughout that day. And at night when I got off work, I'd get on my knees again and I'd thank him for the help that he had given me throughout that day, keeping me sober, getting my job done, and helping whoever was there. Today, my higher power has given me a lot.
Holy, holy, holy Lord, God of power and might, heaven and earth are filled with your glory. my heaven and earth are filled with your glory. Holy, holy, holy Lord, God of heaven and earth, heaven and earth are filled with your glory.
You've been listening to The Bottom Line, featuring Wayne's story. Wayne, it's people like you who give it back, meaning your experience, strength, and all your hope that provides a message to keep others sober. And for this, we're truly grateful. Thanks so much, Wayne. The Bottom Line features only real stories of recovering alcoholics, aired for only one reason, and that's to plant recovery seeds. This show is produced for Armed Forces Radio, heard worldwide. I'm Gary Thiemann. Until next time, God bless you, and share the message, won't you? This has been a GRT production.